Okay. So we have a very special guest, and it's been long awaited. And she has been at the forefront of LifeWave since before it was actually LifeWave. She was in a test group, and we're going to let her tell you that story. She has been a registered nurse for over 40 years. And not only was she a registered nurse, through all those years, she kept getting this qualification, that qualification, doing all types of alternative therapies. She became a midwife, and in the midst of all of that, she's also a naturopathic doctor doing acupuncture. And she also is the founder of a company called Alliance for Complementary Therapeutics. Her real goal in life has been to educate and assist people in achieving and maintaining their best possible health by using all natural therapies, using wholesome nutrition, and under spiritual guidance. And so let's give it all up for Dr. Quila Weigel.
Hi, folks. Good to see you. Thank you. What a welcome. Wow.
So let's bring the energy. I'd love everybody to show their hearts, where that shows the reactions. So as she's speaking, please feel free to show some love. So we're super excited. Woo! I'm so happy. So Dr. Quila, thank you.
It's actually Dr. Quila, long I.
Saying it wrong.
That's all right. I knew who you were talking to.
So would you please tell us how you came to LifeWave and all the things you did on the way to getting to where you are now?
Yeah. I came from a dentist father and a nurse mother. So I was somewhat educated way back in the early 40s by natural medicine. And because that's what was done back then. The allopathic model didn't have a stranglehold on our medicine like it does now. So I learned from my dad that x-rays, cause cancer. And that, in fact, he didn't even know that mercury that they put in those silver fillings was poisonous back then. They didn't know that. So anyway, so I learned a lot, and there was a lot that I thought was okay that wasn't as I went along through life. So when I decided to become a nurse, I had 3 little kids. I was married very early at 17. And so I went to a couple of, what would you call it, programs to check into it. And I really didn't like what I saw. But I thought, well, this is what I have to do to become a nurse. So I started taking natural medicine courses. I did EFT, which is the tapping mechanism. I did the laying out of hands that we were even learning in nursing back then. I attended every single, quote, natural famous person's events that I could, including Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and so on. Because what I was seeing in my nursing training did not please me at all. And I was stuck. I felt I had to do it. I had to finish. I'd put too much in over the years. I had to finish it. So when I did finish it, I decided to go ahead and work as a nurse. And I was even more upset what I saw happen in the hospitals and the amount of medications and pills that everybody was on. And that there was very little, quote, encouragement to get up and walk around, do your own physical therapy or anything like that. They had a physical therapy office, of course, in most hospitals, but not encouraging the patient to do it on their own some. So I tried to educate my patients. I felt it was my duty to let them know that there were other ways that they could handle some of their complaints besides taking a pain pill, for instance. So over the years, obviously, I got in some trouble. Nurses heard me telling patients things and reported me to supervisors and stuff, but I explained to the nursing supervisors what I knew and what I was doing, and I never really got fired or any kind of retribution aimed at me. So I decided to do even more natural medicine. And so I took every course I could find on natural medicine and eventually went to a special, what would you call it? A special school. It was done in a private home by a black doctor from, he was a doctor of acupuncture that he got in Sri Lanka, and he married his wife over there and got trained by the Sri Lankans, which are very good acupuncturists and natural medicine people. In fact, they even had guest speakers in their school over there from Russia, because Russia is very much into natural medicine. So I took their courses and I got a PhD in acupuncture, another one in homeopathy, and another one in Chinese medicine. And so I had a bag full of things that I could help people with. But I decided to get out of the regular nursing, and I went and became a nurse midwife. Went to San Francisco General Hospital for a whole year and did that. Came out as not only a nurse midwife, but as a nurse practitioner. So I was back down then in Arizona, Phoenix, deciding to move up here into the mountains of Arizona. And somebody suggested that we come up for the weekend for 4th of July. Well, I loved it up here. Walked into the nursing department of the local hospital and was hired on the spot just because of my credentials. So I started working here, and it was a very growing community with very little hospital facilities. We were very short on beds, we were short on staff. So I ended up working 90-hour weeks, and I soon got very adrenally exhausted, as you can well imagine. Well, at the same time, I was doing EFT on the side with clients and locals, and I got spammed from the EFT website, as along did everyone else that was up there as a practitioner.
Somebody muted out Dr. Ryder.
Wait, hold on. How do we bring her back?
Unmute her. Go up to the top by her and
Yeah.
unmute her.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dr. Ryder,
Miss, kiddo.
Dr. Ryder, you got muted out for like a couple of seconds.
Yeah, just a few seconds.
So you were at the small hospital is where we left off. I'm sorry.
Okay. And so I got spammed from one of the websites I belong to called Emotional Freedom Technique, that tapping. And they said, hey, we've got some patches that are based on acupuncture and would like to send you some free samples. Well, okay, it's free. All right, I'll do that. So I got them, and I was looking here at my patches to get some out so I could show you, but I gather you guys are all used to the patches, right?
The majority of people probably are, but I know that we have new people who may not even have tried a patch yet.
Okay, I had all empty casings in front of me because I wanted to talk about each one. So I said, sure, send me the samples. And they did. And this was energy patches. And this was a white and a tan patch. There were 2 sets. And they were tan and white. Where's the white one? Okay. And they were sealed. And in the back was paper that you could take off and stick on your body. And I thought, this is ridiculous. This isn't like acupuncture. What's going on here? So I read the brochure. It didn't really explain real well how they work. And I was very doubtful. I thought it was a scam. But I thought, well, they're free. I'll go ahead and try them. Well, the very next day was a day from hell because we had 4 foot of snow. I couldn't even drive to the hospital, which is less than a mile away. I had to call the maintenance man to come get me in the big truck with the plow. Of course, I was down 2 nurses. I was in charge of OB because of my nurse midwife background. And we had all the beds were full. I had a mom and baby very sick. I needed to get them down to Phoenix very quickly. And I usually would drive them. I couldn't drive them. The roads were bad. So I had to fly them by chopper. And that took a lot of paperwork. And I was low on staff. And there was a lady in the hallway that was in labor with a screen around her for privacy because we had no more labor beds. So, I mean, it was a mess. And plus, I was down 2 nurses. So we were working our little heinies off that day. And I had decided to go ahead and try the patches at the last minute. And I put them on my inner ankle on my socks because it said you could wear them on your clothing. I thought, I'll try this out. No way. It can't work. Well, I sailed through the day. I was mentally clear, even at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when your kidneys start to go downhill, I was awake, alert, and working my little hind end off, as were everyone else. I didn't get out of there till about 9:30 that night because even the night shift had trouble getting in. So I came home thinking, well, I'll just go to bed because most of the time I did go straight to bed. I was too tired to cook, but I felt like, no, I'm hungry and I'm going to cook. Something's different. I feel mentally alert. I did great today. These things are working. So the next day I went ahead and put another set on and went back to work and had the same kind of experience. So the very next day off, I called the company. There was information. They didn't have the nice little sleeves that we have now. This was in just a little plastic bag with information about the company because David really hadn't gotten the company going yet. So I called, he answered. Of course, he had no staff. And I introduced myself, told him what my experience was with the patches and my background. And I said, I'm blown away. I mean, if we can do acupuncture with, 2 little patches like this, I'd like to know more about this. And he said, okay, let me grab Dr. Steve Haltewanger, who was working with him. And Dr. Dean was there also, who was a chiropractor from Oregon, I believe it was, who was head of the women's swim team in the Olympics. And he was down there seeing if he could get some patches from David for the Olympic team, and also helping David with some of the basic things like writing manuals and stuff. So David asked if I could come out as soon as possible. And I said, sure, I've got 3 days coming up. And so I'll come out. So I drove out to San Diego and met with all of them and helped write some of the early books and booklets and designed different points so that we would have instructions that had points on them for whatever that patch was supposed to do, which was the energy patch, and so on. So that's how I got involved. And I thank somebody upstairs, boy, because it not only changed my life, but it gave me such great joy to be able to help lots of other people just with the energy patches. And so I got involved with Dr. Steve also in some of the early research, like the glutathione patch and the Eon patch and the carnosine patches were pretty early ones. And I did some patch studies with Dr. Karen Can. She joined us shortly thereafter on the ice wave patches. So that was my beginning. I ended up traveling to numerous different countries, the Philippines, where else? Iceland, of all places, to do special presentations, speaking engagements, and showing them the patches and so on. That's why some of my trips, and then David was also traveling. That's why we're in over 200 countries, because come to find out here in our country, David couldn't get a class 2 designation as a medical device so that insurance would cover the patches and that we could use them in the hospitals and in clinics. The allopathic model didn't approve us. He has tried, as far as I know, many, many other years to try and get that done and has yet to be able to do it. But then he went over to Europe. I think it was Italy, the first country he went to. Somebody heard about it, and they were thrilled. The doctors attended a big meeting with David. They started using them in the hospitals right away. And things just spread like wildfire over there because they don't have the same medical system we do. They're much more into natural stuff. So they gave him a billing code. So then that meant the insurance, that was usually the country covering the insurance would pay for those patches.
What?
Excuse me, can you please mute yourself? There we go. There we go.
Uh,
Okay, Quila.
So that's the beginning with LifeWave for me. And I've never stopped using them since. To me, they're a lifesaver. When the X39 came out, that was kind of the top of the pyramid as far as what we've done so far. And my story on the X39 is David would give them out to some of us early. And so I got my package of X39 and I'm sitting at the kitchen table visiting with a couple of friends. And the lady friend had just had a tooth pulled and she was rubbing her jaw and looked miserable. And I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "Oh, I'm in pain." And I looked down at my pile of mail. I said, "Oh, look, here's this new X39 patch. I just heard about it. And it's a stem cell patch. And they say it's good for pain. So let's try it." So I pulled one out, handed it to her, and with the other hand, I said, "Now start pushing here on your jaw and find a tender spot because we're going to put this patch on there for you." And as I'm doing that, she's yawning kind of and gyrating and her eyes are bugging out. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Well, I don't have any more pain." I said, "Oh, come on, you haven't even put it on yet, And she said, "No, honest." And she's pushing hard, I can see. She said, "I don't have any more pain." So we all laughed and we had a good time with it because she was very familiar with all the other patches. She said, "Oh my gosh, we can't even do this usually with IceWave." I said, "Yeah, this is that new stem cell patch." So I put it on the table, or she did. And I said to her friend, I said, "Well, how about you? Do you have any?" And he said, "Yes, I have a frozen shoulder. It's not painful unless I go back, but I can't go back very far." I said, "Well, heck, try it. Put it in your fingers with one hand and try gyrating or at least moving your frozen shoulder." And he did, and he went back, and his eyes are getting big, and he's going up over his head with his arm, and he's coming down with it and doing a windmill within 30 seconds or so. No pain. So let me tell you, the X39 kind of spoke to me through those two people very quickly. And I immediately, of course, started using it on me. The third day I used it, I had been pretty much a severe nearsighted person since birth. And when I was 12 years old, instead of wearing those thick Coke bottle glasses, I got switched into hard contact lenses. And so I loved them. I wore them all my life. So here I am now. What was this, 2 years ago? So I am 77 years old at that point, and my eyes have never changed. Every year I just go get new contacts, the same old prescription. And yet within 3 days, I could not wear those hard contacts. They felt like knives. I go back to the doctor. He said, "Oh, I can't believe this. You're changed. You were here 5 days ago for your yearly exam. What happened?" And I told him the story. And of course, he raises his eyebrows and rolls his eyes. He can't believe. But my eyes have changed ever since then on a continual basis, not very easily predicted, because sometimes it's 2 weeks later, I can't wear my soft contacts because my eyes are just not focusing good. In fact, that's why I have readers, because I just went to the doctor and got new soft contacts and they're not in yet. So I have to use readers. And it's an absolute miracle. On top of which, at my age, I had quite a few wrinkles, lots of lines across my forehead and in my lips, typical old lady, and they are going away. On top of which, my gray hair, I started dyeing it when I was 12 because I was getting a gray hair in it and I was black, and I dyed it until I found out how dangerous black hair dye is. Stop that. Well, now guess what's coming in? Black hair. My eyebrows are getting darker, and there's certain areas of my hair that's darker at the roots. So the X39 definitely is one of my favorite patches. And that's my story.
That's so incredible. And I think you are the most educated person we've had on our call. Just so in your practice now, you're not seeing patients, is that
No,
correct? But you do see
I'm doing
people,
this kind of stuff.
and we're so happy, yay! And we get to be we're just grateful that you are here to share with us all of your knowledge and expertise. And I just love that story about how you came to LifeWave, how they actually spammed you and you were willing to take the free product. That's incredible.
Well,
So how many
it's not
people?
all bad, is it?
Not at all. How many people, since you were at the very beginning, how many people do you have in your organization? Do you know?
I have thousands. However, that's a good topic because we have a binary plan, right? Well, in the modern times, there's numerous other companies that are getting the word about LifeWave, and a lot of people are joining that have already built big organizations in other companies, and they're good marketers. I'm not a marketer. I'm a helper healer. And so it's my left leg has millions of points. My right leg doesn't. So I don't make a lot of money from LifeWave. And I'm so busy doing stuff like this and phone calls, that I'm going to start my own web calls again, Zoom calls. I used to do them, and I'm going to start doing them again. And I'll be putting the word out, and you guys can join. But what I'm asking in the meantime is if everybody likes what I say and do for you, would you send me a donation? Okay,
Yeah.
just whatever you feel like. I'll give you my what's it called?
Your PayPal?
PayPal's the easiest, I think, rather than Zelle. Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys can.
Marina, can you put that in the chat? So one of the things that she does, so she's not actually seeing patients anymore, but she does, if you call her, she will, she'll treat you by donation.
Yeah. And I'll do phone consultations all the time. I'm on the phone constantly. I think that's why I forgot to write yours down. I probably got a phone call.
Yeah, that I was like almost in hysteria. I had called her earlier today and she says, okay, call me back. And so I'll call her back and she goes, oh, I don't have you written down. I know we talked. So anyway, can we open it up now? Oh, wait, before we do that, before we open it up for question and answer, would you please tell them how you got the name Patch Doctor?
Oh, okay. That was funny. I was doing some local events. I went to the Elks Club and some other, clubs like that to let them know that LifeWave was out there. And as I walked in one evening, getting ready to do an event, somebody said, "Oh, here comes the patch doctor." And it stuck because my name is so unusual, Quila. How in the heck do you even pronounce it, much less spell it, you know? A patch doctor really stuck. So I got that name that way.
So that was really from David Schmidt, right?
Well, no, not directly,
Okay.
but he caught on to it and he started introducing me that way. Yeah.
Okay. So are you ready now to allow people to ask their questions?
Sure.
And okay, great. Okay. So who has their first question? Who would like to go first? And just unmute yourself.
Hi, I would like to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Karen Monsanto from Savannah, Georgia.
Hi, Karen.
I'm just amazed at your testimony. It's just so hopeful and exciting. So I have dermatitis eczema.
Oh, and hang
And
on a second, Karen, before you get going. We're not going to mention any kind of diseases, okay? Because LifeWave doesn't deal with it. But like what
oh,
you just did, that's okay. Uh, you're just starting. You haven't done much of an explanation, and that's what we need. We need symptoms. So just give me your symptoms.
okay, skin itching, scaling of the skin, particularly now my feet. They have like this like a leathery kind of, the skin is turned like that.
Okay.
And I just don't feel like, my dermatologist says, well, they're just gonna be like that. No,
No, no, you don't have to
no.
live with it.
Yes.
And one thing LifeWave has taught me is there's nothing the body can't heal. I've
Right,
actually seen paralyzed people walk,
right.
you know.
And
So,
so,
yeah.
they want me to start these allergy shots, and I don't know. I've been off of prednisone and all of that kind of stuff, steroid stuff, because it was blowing me up, and it's just temporary fix. I'm changing my eating. I don't use things that have perfumes in it and stuff, but I know I need to work on the internal part. I'm
Yeah.
61, and I think there's other solutions.
Yes, there is. Um, First of all, due to the knowledge of acupuncture and natural medicine, I know skin is controlled by large intestine and lung. And it's usually the large intestine that gets disturbed because of what's in our foods these days. It's awfully hard to find a truly organic food. For instance, we know that corn is
Right.
GMO'd. They
Right.
started it and it's in the seed, and when it blossoms out to the seeds coming out in this very fine pieces, and the wind blows, it blows over to the next corn field, and that is picked up by the plant next door, and they also then get GMO seeds from that. Now, you can have organic because it's grown organically, but that's nothing to do with GMO. And they don't, quote, recognize in the, what would you call it, the companies that do the uh, restrictions and the description of what kind of plant a certain plant is, they don't even recognize it. It's mostly the natural people that have done that. So staying away from things like that is real helpful because
Mm-hmm.
it irritates the gut. But we can use patches also to help the gut heal. And so we have placements, uh, and we've over the years found different places that we can get pictures, because most of us in America, we don't know acupuncture, and we don't have to use the patches. That's the beauty. And so what we do is we patch large intestine points that are tender. And large intestine starts on the first finger. Now see how bumpy my joint is there? That's commonly called something, isn't it? Sore and red and painful.
Mhm.
Okay, don't have to say it.
Yeah.
Okay, but when that happened one morning, I woke up with that. I thought, oh my gosh, I knew that large intestine finger
Mm.
was telling me something
Okay.
that I need to patch my large intestine points.
Okay.
Okay, so since I've done that, I have not developed any more real bad ones. Okay, and I can give you some suggestions on which patches to use, energy to move it, and then you want to detox. And that's the glute, the carnosine, and the eon. Do you know what those are?
No, ma'am.
Okay, glutathione's made in every single cell, and it is a single white patch. And because it's made in every cell, it's pretty important, I bet, right?
Yeah.
Somebody up there, knew what he was doing when he made us. And then the carnosine is a single white patch in a different folder. Each one of these has 30 patches. And it also is made in every cell. And it has to be there to make a new brain myelin sheath, not just brain, but any myelin sheath for nerves, and the fiber for muscles. So think heart, think brain. Very important to have carnosine in its full amount, like our creator intended. And so these patches help your body make more if it needs it. Then there is another one called Eon, AEON. And that one has multiple effects. It decreases inflammation. Inflammation often impedes the healing because our body kind of overreacts. This says to the body, balance inflammation. It also balances the substance in the liver called fibrinogen that is responsible for making clots or not making them, or stemming the bleeding that's out of control, or allowing it to bleed if it needs to. So the body's in control and there's always balance. Then it also has a wonderful message in it. There's 3 messages. Make cortisol, balance cortisol. Cortisol is in the kidneys right next to adrenaline. Who do you know that couldn't use a relaxing, beautiful hormone being secreted more in these days that we're going through, right? So
Yes.
that's Eon. So we recommend those 3, and then the energy to move the energy through the large intestine, and the X39 to top it off to help you make more stem cells, healthy ones.
So
Okay.
where would you suggest that she put those patches?
Well,
How would you patch her?
yeah, in the brochures that come with all of the patches. Where's my brochures
So
here?
just follow it wherever they say to patch it. There's no special place.
For everything except the energy. The energy I would put on large intestine points. And
Okay.
I can send you, if you'd like, the pictures that I use, and you can send to everybody.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay, and spread the word as to where the points are. Like I said, it starts on the first finger, goes
Yes.
all the way up the arm. And so I'll send you those pictures.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Karen, thank you so much.
Thank
That
you.
was an excellent question. I have a question that you had talked about earlier, and you said you had a recipe to make your own magnesium.
Magnesium chloride.
Okay.
As I found out years ago, that when you take magnesium chloride, we use it in the hospital to clean you out before a colonoscopy. And so it's very irritating to the bowel. And yet magnesium chloride has to be in every cell to work. It's vital. And yet you don't want to take it orally. So we have developed a recipe, And I'll send that to you too. Let me write those things down. I'll send you points and the magnesium MgCl. Now you can buy magnesium chloride. They call it oil, something oil. Anyway, it's sold in health food stores and stuff.
So
It
when you
doesn't
take,
have any oil in it.
okay, so when you take magnesium, like, magnesium and
Orally.
calcium orally, you said, in our conversation earlier, that isn't super healthy.
Well, and it's usually not magnesium chloride, it's stearate or phosphate or some other. That's not what is in our cells, though. Mag chloride is the only thing in our cells. So that's why we got to the point where we started using magnesium that we make at home very inexpensively and put the solution in a glass bottle like this in order to spray on. You're muted.
Thank you. What other suggestions did you have to make the patches more effective?
Placement. Placement is vital for most of them. We have great pictures in the brochures, and every single one of them comes with a brochure.
Right.
And I'll pull out the X39 ones.
And didn't you suggest copper and zinc?
Yes, copper and zinc have to be used in order to make the X39 work. They found that out in the research that Dr. Connor did. So there's usually at least 2, sometimes 5 in the case of eon and glutathione. There's 5 on every single page. So there's 15 different points and you can mix them up. Now, if you can find a large intestine point and you're dealing with large intestine and it's tender, fine, put a glutathione patch on it. That will just be a little bit more oomph to get the body to use that glutathione right there first.
How would you want people to get in touch with you? By calling you or email?
Email's the best.
Okay. And can you tell, can you say it out loud so people can write it and she'll put it in the chat? Okay.
It's
ahead.
A as in apple, C as in cat, T as in Tom, 127@gmail. Alliance of Complementary Therapeutics was the name of my company. And that's where the ACT came from. So it's act127@gmail.
Okay.
And
Great.
I'm in Mountain Time in Arizona.
Okay.
May I ask you a question? Do people that want to make donations, do they use that email address
Yeah.
of PayPal?
PayPal. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dr. Quinn, are you trying to say magnesium chloride brine? I have the spray
Yes.
already made up.
That's it.
This bottle here is what I'm showing. Can you see?
Okay. Who makes it?
It's made by Swanson
Okay.
Ultra. I get it on Amazon. It's like 8 something a bottle. It's an 8-ounce bottle.
Pretty inexpensive. What's in it? What's exactly the ingredients? Because you don't.
100%,
Go ahead.
100% pure magnesium chloride brine from the
There you
ancient.
go. That's good enough. Because
Okay.
brine means water with the magnesium. That's it. Because sometimes they'll say magnesium oil. And yet when you read the instructions or the ingredients, it is just water and mag chloride. And that's okay.
Mhm.
You don't want oil. You don't want lotion in it. You don't want anything else but magnesium and water.
Okay.
Okay, who's next?
I have a question.
Okay, there you are.
Hi there. Thank you, Dr. Ryder.
Sure.
So would it be basic if there were symptoms for any other problem that we might have to just follow if we could find out what the acupressure points would be on the body, that you'd know that would be the right place to put the patches if there were in question as to a specific illness?
If it's a specific ailment, you could do a little bit better than what the brochures show. Just remember that the energy, the red package,
Yes.
and the ice wave, the silver one, are the only ones that move the energy, and they're the only ones that have 2 patches.
Right.
Okay, all the rest are single white patches. So when
Yes.
we did the research, the results were from blood, from urine, from results such as pain relief and so on. But it wasn't specific to where we put it, such as, you know, some of the others. Like
Okay.
if you're going after pain with ice wave,
Right.
you still need to be a little bit more specific to get the pain relief.
Right.
The basic research on the eon, the glute, the carnosine, the single white patches were all placed below the belly button in almost every study.
Okay.
And
So to ask a more specific question, then, if someone's having negative or symptomatic problems with their breasts,
yes,
would that also be a specific patch that you would put below the belly button?
well, you almost everybody needs to detox. The
Yes,
cause of almost every disease is toxins,
exactly.
and our society is incredibly laden with it.
Yes,
From the medications to the stuff they put on the towels before you buy them at the store. You go in a store, you go in a hospital, that smell, that's
yes,
infectant. It's
yes.
poisonous.
Yeah, understandably.
Welcome to the medical system.
Yes, exactly.
Every single medication is a toxic chemical. That's why you have side effects,
Yes,
you know. So the less you can do any of that, the better. And the patches will help you detox. The glute, the carnosine, and the eon are basically
yes.
detox patches.
Okay.
So
And
putting
so,
them on liver points, for instance,
okay.
liver's a detox organ, isn't it? Same
Yes.
with kidneys. And we go after the symptoms, of course.
So you wouldn't necessarily recommend to put anything around the breast
Yeah,
itself?
I would, to move the energy.
Okay.
Because something stuck there, or you wouldn't have a problem there.
And would you recommend the three,
The,
the carnosine,
no, the
glutathione?
energy
No?
or the ice wave are the only
Okay.
ones that move the
Okay.
energy, because they are the
Okay.
2-patch system.
Yes,
And
I
you know,
have
with
them.
breasts, even with men, you have a lot of lymphatic nodules in the upper
Yes.
area that
Yes.
drains down through the breasts into the heart.
Yes.
The lower body has lymphatics that drain upward
Yes.
to the heart for discharge.
Exactly.
That's the normal
Yes.
physiology.
I'm
And
a massage therapist, and I have
oh,
just begun my study into all of the lymphatics.
yeah,
So when you talk about your background, it's like, oh my gosh, this woman, this is just you're just amazing. So exciting to hear you and to have heard your story. Thank you.
sure, sure.
So I have a
You have
question.
a good education here with massage.
Yes,
Okay, because and add the patches to it. Oh my word, you
yes,
can enhance the people's health as
I
well
know.
of your.
I call them my mini miracle patches. I think they're phenomenal.
That's a good one.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sure. Anyone else?
Yes, we have Chris who's raised his hand and has been waiting patiently to ask you a
Oh,
question.
thank
Chris,
you.
you can unmute
Hi,
yourself.
hi, yeah, hi, Doc.
Hi.
So nice to meet you. So, how many patches can you wear?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that, because people don't realize, number one, how they work. The patch doesn't make the body do anything. When I went over the very first trip over there to California, David took me in his lab and he turned the lights out, and he had this giant, extremely powerful microscope. And he took a patch and was holding it to slip it underneath the microscope so I could see it. And we could see the little lightning things coming off the patch because he was holding it. So
Wow.
it's the physical, not just touch, but getting close to the body, our aura, our heat, whatever you want to call it, our electrical field is what stimulates the patch. And it fires that signal. And if the patch wants that message, it takes it in and uses it. And only if it wants it.
So you could use more than one.
You can use all of them together. And at
Gotcha.
my age, I pretty much do that every day.
Wow. Okay. Good to know. Thank you so much.
Debbie, you have a question?
You have to unmute, hon.
Hey, I do. Can you hear me?
Now, yeah.
Dr. Quila, someone
I'm
had
ready.
the lump removed from breast. I got to think about this last night. I had that done 2 years ago, and where they sewed it back, it itches a whole lot, and it start filling back up, and that tissue has started firming again. So I can put 3 patches on there: the cortisone, the X39, and the Aeon, and that will help a whole lot reduce that scratching, that itching. But I got to think about it. Is it possible that if I'm doing these patches on me every day, that it could, because I'm lopsided right now, so it could possibly grow the tissue back to
Yes.
the fullness?
It's entirely possible. We have seen things grow back that we didn't think was possible.
Okay. Is it by using that cortisone all the time and right there on that spot where it's like dense? You know what I'm talking about? There's no bounce to it. It's just dense. And so the more this tissue grows like that, the way it's growing now, it's like heavy. So will that soften that tissue up?
The body will do what it has to do to heal. Now you need, besides the carnosine and what'd you say, the X39?
And the Aeon.
And the Eon, you need
Eon.
energy or ice wave to move the energy, because those 2 patches talk to each other. And they send out a signal, bring energy in and take it out.
And where would you put those patches around the breast?
If you have symptoms, then go after the symptoms with the ice wave. Poke around, find tender spots and lay the white one on, poke again, see if it's better, worse, or the same. If it's better, then that's the place for the white one. If not, try the tan one.
Tender spots, that'll be like 4 or 5 sets of each, 4 or 5 sets on that one.
Maybe not, maybe not. Because
now that same one, they took in 2005, they took those 2 lymph nodes out. Of course, I know better now, but anyways, and the incision there, that's softer now since I've been using the patches since June. So that is softer, but that lymphatic fluid, it pockets right there between that scar incision and the one where they took 3 years ago, where they took that scar tissue out, that lump out because of scar tissue. So that's what I'm trying to work on.
Well, guess what dissolves scar tissue? Glutathione.
Oh, glutathione. Oh, the X30. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I have to alternate daily then, right?
No, you can use them all.
Okay.
There is
Now,
no
when you say
limit.
ice wave, now I'm putting that ice wave just on that one breast though, right? I'm doing that one breast, tan on the left inside and the white on the right side of that one, right?
If that's the only one that you want affected.
Yeah, okay.
Because say, for instance, you have a breathing problem and there's a point right up here at the upper limits of the chest here, right here, that are lung points. Okay, but if you put the white on the right and the tan on the
Mhm.
left, the meridians that go through the lung go through the whole body from the first finger, no, thumb, and goes up the arm and all over the body.
Oh,
So you're moving the energy using a white and a tan that are on different sides of the body. You're moving it through one side of the body into the other. And the same with your breast.
Wow, that's amazing. Dr.
This-
Quayla, we can't see anymore.
yeah,
You got the camera back
I'll
up.
move it up. Yeah.
Okay, I think Debbie's next.
Hi, Dr. Quila.
Hi.
Thank you. I'm Debbie Lovelace. I live in Georgia. I go by Georgia Peach here. Thank you so much for all your wonderful information. I have two questions. Hopefully the first one is simple. If I have a couple of customers who are older ladies, their budget is very, very limited, and they haven't gotten as much benefits with the patches at all. And they've been wearing them for about going on five months now. I'm almost 6
Which
months.
patch?
They've been predominantly using the X39, but now that they are
the
getting
problem.
samples.
With the X39. Number one, they have to do the copper, zinc, and magnesium.
Okay,
Secondly, they might need to move the energy before the X39 can work on whatever it is they're aiming it at,
all right.
because it should work within seconds.
Wow, okay. Now, for me personally, I'd like to ask a question. I have always been a note taker, squeeze a sponge, and I'm left-handed, and I've developed a trigger finger. I don't know if you, where the finger gets out of joint.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you offer some suggestions for this?
Did you try the X39 on it?
I've been using the X39 on it. Usually, sometimes it's a fresh one, and sometimes it's the one left over from yesterday.
Okay, and you haven't had any effects?
Not a lot.
Okay, then I would move the energy again.
Okay.
And if you think about, which finger is it?
It's my left hand, my left thumb.
Thumb. Okay, so the first point is on the end of the thumb near the nail.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to put the white one down there and put the tan one up here to run the energy, because white brings in, tan takes out.
Okay, so white up on the white on the tip of the thumb, the inside of the thumb on the fleshy area.
Yeah, just roll it around, you know, like yay. Roll it around and tape it on.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that.
I can, yes.
I use Scotch tape or medical tape all the time to do that.
And so, and then so that's the white, and then the tan goes on the inside of the wrist.
And then the tan would go up the arm. This is the lung meridian. Okay, so you want to look at the picture and you'll see the points go all the way up, and you want to find a tender one to put the tan one on.
Okay, so that's just the inside of the arm then, just feel around for a tender spot.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at the picture.
Okay.
It's not so broad, it's just the inside, it's specific.
Now, are we talking about the energy patch itself or the ice wave?
Either one. They both move the energy. The ice wave's just stronger on pain.
Okay, all righty.
The white patch is exactly the same patch.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I want to clarify Debbie's question. So when you said if the X39 isn't working, move the energy. And so where would you put those energy patches on the body?
You want it on tender spots, no
Okay.
matter where it is in the body. And then looking at the pictures that I'll send you of the points, you will understand that every single meridian starts in a different place on either the fingers or the toes.
Okay. And do you have a special book that you would recommend to all of us so that we can?
No, these
No.
are free.
Okay, great. All right. So Marina has a question.
Hi, doctor. I just finished helping a client of mine. She was born, she told me she was born with IBS, which I wasn't aware that you're actually born with it.
Okay, but you don't need to talk about that. What are her symptoms?
She would only go to the bathroom perhaps every other day.
Okay,
She also recently lost a child, so she has trouble sleeping, anxiety, depression. And COVID didn't help very much.
no,
Make a long story short, I put her on some supplements, gave her some herbs. I gave her the X39. She had back pains. I think it was psychological, to be honest, the aches and pains. And I gave her the yellow patch. Make a long story short, she started going to the bathroom.
yes.
I also gave her some Kangen water.
Mhm.
And now they sent her Aeon patches to try out. And she asked me, what do I do with these? And I didn't know what to tell her. So do you have any suggestions?
Well, there is a brochure.
I know, but everybody's different. I think the brochure is not, I mean,
General,
it's general, exactly.
this patch, the Eon patch, is a total body patch. When you look down in the black area of the website,
Yes.
for science, you will see pictures of the inflammation that they took with thermography showing the heat and the cold of the body.
Uh-huh.
And within 10 minutes, a man that had a red spot up here and every single joint of his hands and feet and knees and legs were red, and lots of other places. And in 10 minutes, with a patch on that red spot, his total body was red, blue, green. I mean, was blue and green.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
So it
Rwanda, you
doesn't
have a-
matter as much.
Incredible. Ravonda has her hand up. She's next. And how much time do we have left, Dr. Quila?
Well, what time is it? I can't
It's
even.
about, it's almost 7:30 here.
Okay, we've been doing an hour then, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, a few more minutes. Is everybody? Mhm. And you can always email me.
Okay, we have a couple two more hands that are up.
Okay.
So we'll go with Ravonda. She's next.
Hi, Dr. Paula. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed this call so much, and I'm already looking forward to the next one.
Okay.
My question for you tonight is, I've been hearing about how you can stack the patches. Can you
Yes,
tell me if you recommend that and elaborate for us?
I don't recommend it because David has never done any research on it. He
Okay.
never has downplayed it as if it would hurt. And people that use it, Karen Can, when we were working together, she's the one that came up with the idea, she and Dr. Dennis, and they had great results. I just think we're wasting another spot in the body that we could stimulate with another patch. So that's why I don't recommend it.
Well, I've kind of wondered about that too. So one more thing, the pigment of your skin, can that be helped if someone has lost pigmentation in a patch area on their skin?
Well, that's a good one. I don't think I've ever dealt with that. And why did they lose it?
I know there's a name for that type of disease where,
Okay,
but I don't know.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, it's a disease. And as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned, the body can heal everything.
Right.
So I would say to you, because I've not done this, look up what causes pigmentation to disappear or change in skin. And I suspect it's a bowel problem.
What if it's also related to some type of fungus? Maybe.
That's a bowel problem.
Okay.
It's
Awesome.
growing in the bowels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it is a tropical disease, isn't it, as I recall?
I'm not sure.
I think dark colored people in the tropics get that patchy areas of their body disappearing with the darkness of their skin, right?
It's not always that,
No.
but maybe a little more common or maybe a little more noticeable.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think it is more common than we realize.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, it's called vitiligo. I'm Dr.
Yeah.
Pendleton.
Okay, vitiligo, that rings a bell. Yeah.
So
Well,
on
thank you so much.
the heels of that question, if someone is having bowel issues, where do you patch for that?
I'll send you some of the pictures, and I would recommend a and again, I'm no big expert on that kind of stuff picture wise. So what did I do? I went up to Google Images. You'd be amazed at the pictures, and a lot of them medical pictures. But here's what else is very handy. It is an app called Points. Hang on here. Well, I don't know if you can see it on my screen here. It's second row at the end, and it's a blue-green yin-yang symbol. You can get it for phones or on your desktop. It's called Points, Points. Can you see that picture at all?
I really can't, but we're going to put it in the chat.
Does that help?
Does everyone see that?
You can see it in the chat, the name of it for sure.
Okay, Points, Points. And it's a typical app for phones, and you can get it in the Gmail or the Google, what is the App Store.
And what does it describe, Dr. Quila?
Describes all of the points of the body, the acupuncture points, and it tells you what it does. Now, here's a conundrum. Here's the warning. It's in acupuncture verbiage. So even I don't understand half of what they're saying, but what it will do is say is decreases inflammation in large intestine. That's enough for me. So I look for the words that I understand. You don't have to memorize it or look up these qi and some of the Chinese words that are used in acupuncture. You don't have to know it. You can pretty much tell, and they will give you a picture on there. In fact, the pictures, maybe I can lift that up and see.
We can check it out.
Yeah.
We can certainly check it out.
See how big
Yeah.
the picture is? And it shows I think that's lung, in fact. And it shows both arms. And then on another page, it gives you, you can choose, you can choose for the indications, it'll tell you what it does.
So this is meridian points, is what the points.
Points, correct. Yeah.
That was the nature of my question. So I'll lower my hand.
Okay.
So you've answered that before I could get to it. Thank you.
Okay, very good. And there's some of the descriptions and so on of the various points on that one.
I'll check it out. Thank you. I
Don't
think we all will.
Because
Thank you, Tom. We have Glenn LeBlanc, and he's our scientist. He's very, very helpful.
Okay.
So he's just, I can't wait to hear what Glenn has to ask.
Okay, Glenn.
All right, can you all hear me?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, great. I'm working with a little dog who has his mitral valve has thickened and gotten hard.
Okay.
And so it's not closing. He's getting backwash. I've been using X39 on his chest now since about July of last year. It has stopped the progression because they had basically said he would not be around at this point. That was going to deteriorate rapidly.
Yeah.
So it has at least stopped the progression of it.
That's good.
And he's no worse than he was. But I heard you say glutathione can soften scar tissue. And should I guess, use glutathione in addition to the
I sure would.
X39s in order to hopefully soften that tissue so it begins to close again?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I would use carnosine too, because
All right.
carnosine has to be there in every cell on doggies, just like us,
Mhm.
in order to make a new nerve fiber or a new muscle fiber.
Okay.
Okay. And so I put it on my kitties' collars. You don't have to put it directly like we do on humans.
Mhm.
because all those single white patches, they work on the whole body.
Right.
The body picks up the message from the collar, uses it where it needs to go.
All right. Well, I've just shaved a little spot on his chest that I've been putting him on every day, and he doesn't seem to bother him.
Okay.
But
A
is that
cat
preferred?
is different. I have cats.
Yeah.
They scratch it off immediately.
Yeah. No, he's behaved and left it alone. He don't particularly like me removing it at night, but other than that, he's fine. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Is that it? Okay.
So
That's a
we
good
do have a question about the supplements. What brand do you suggest and how many milligrams?
Well, I'm no super big expert on it, and I've been very disappointed at some of the ones that I used to use over the years that have been sold out to other companies, and I can't trust that they're doing what the original company, like Garden of Life, was
Mhm.
one of my favorite. I knew the owner and his dad. They both used the patches and stuff, and I got a look at the land that they were using to grow their own plants and stuff. So I really loved their supplements, but you would have to almost muscle test and so on to see, because I heard it was bought by, was it Nestle or some other big company?
Oh,
So I would ask health food people that know the information there, or people that are into that, into the nutritional part of supplements. They would know more than I would.
this has been such a beautiful evening, and I just feel so honored and grateful that you were willing to take your time out of your busy day to come and speak to our team. We had about 48 people on the call, so I was really,
Wow. I saw there
yeah,
was a lot. Wow, that's
yeah, we had
great.
48 people. So
Ah,
maybe the next time you come, we'll have 100.
okay, way to go.
So I would like everybody to come forward. Let's thank Dr. Quila.
It's been a pleasure,
Um,
you guys. Great questions.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
the next request I would have, let me know what worked and didn't work, because that's how I learned too.
Oh, also Dr. Quila's email address is in the chat. So if anybody wants to give a donation, that's up to you. Any amount is great.
Yeah,
50 cents, $1, $10,
We're ending.
$100,
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
So we have a wonderful little a friend, Miss Jada. She made up a song for patches, and I would love her to share it with us.
Oh, please. Oh, how fun.
So I don't know where she is.
You
Jada,
ready?
we're ready.
Put that right down there. This is real quick, really quick. Okay. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy patching will help you to take your discomfort away. With a peel and a stick and a patch here and there will brighten up your day. Oh, happy day. And that's it.
Oh, gosh, how cute. That's wonderful.
Love it.
I think that's the first patching song I've ever heard.
Oh, you gotta hear the patch here, the patch, 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 patch.
That was awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you
Keep
so
up
much.
the good work, you guys.
Thank
Let's
you.
heal,
Dr. Quila.
let's heal the world.
Thank
Yes,
you.
let's do
Thank
that.
you.
We can be unstoppable, especially when we have like Dr. Quila at the front leading the way. We are unstoppable. This
And
is
remember,
Say
the
something.
Eon patch is a very relaxing patch. I encourage everybody to use it almost every day for what's going on out there.
thank you all.
Okay.
Thank
Night,
everybody
night.
for coming. I believe in y'all. Y'all are awesome. Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Bye-bye. Thanks.